Hi, my name is Mike Forbes, and I'm the principal tuba player with the La Crosse Symphony Orchestra. And I'm glad you're here to join us for Meet the Musician. The theme for this podcast is, or broadcast I should say, is military. The military theme is the one I chose because that was where I first got my first gig in the music industry. I was right out of a master's degree in the University of Wisconsin-Madison, and I auditioned along with 60 other tuba players for one of the premier bands in the Army. And their top bands are in Washington, D.C., just like the Marine Band and the Navy Band, Air Force Band. So the Army band that I was in is called Pershing Zone, and we served the military district of Washington. We would do all kinds of different things around that area, but primarily our main focus was the Pentagon and Arlington National Cemetery. And we would do military full honor services and funerals for the fallen in the Arlington Cemetery, and we would be the band there to provide the music. Sometimes I played the tuba in the concert band, and sometimes I carried the sousaphone in the ceremonial band. So it was a variety of different things that I did. About 2 or 3 years into that process, I realized that I wanted to do something maybe in education. I always had a feeling that I wanted to teach, so I went and did my doctorate at the University of Maryland. So by morning, I would be doing the military band, playing in the Pershing Zone and doing the various things that we would do with the military. And then in the afternoon, I'd be taking coursework and playing in the ensembles at the University of Maryland at College Park. So I got my doctorate degree and got off into a teaching career and taught at a number of universities, where now I teach at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. I'm in my 7th year there. I'm in my 9th year playing with the La Crosse Symphony Orchestra. As you can see here, I'm in my home in Mount Horeb, Wisconsin. So I teach adjunct at the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse, which requires me to be there just 1 day a week. I've had full-time university positions, but the adjunct situation fits me really well because I have a lot of other interests, from composition to international travel and performances all around the globe as a soloist or with my various different chamber groups that I play with. So I'll talk more about my career in a moment, but first let me introduce, you can see some pictures up here. These are my 2 daughters, Carmen and Sasha. Carmen plays the horn, and Sasha plays the oboe. Sasha's actually in the top orchestra of the Wisconsin Youth Symphony Orchestra in the oboe section. My wife played the cello when she was younger, and that's how we met. And now she works as a technical specialist with the St. Mary's Laboratory here in Madison. Her mother, Chris Jenkins, is actually also a member of the La Crosse Symphony Orchestra. As a matter of fact, she is the longest standing member of the orchestra, having played with the orchestra for over 40 years. So it's a great fun for me to be able to play in the same orchestra with my mother-in-law and see her on all the concerts and rehearsals. So that's a little bit about my career and where I sort of came from. But now where are we today? Well, today we're obviously in the COVID crisis, and this is a challenging time for a freelance musician in particular. Obviously, I play a lot of concerts often as a soloist internationally. I've been over to Norway and Portugal quite a bit, been to Spain, Germany. Most recently, I was in Switzerland, where I was actually commissioned to write a brand new tuba concerto for a big tuba competition there in Geneva. So I came up with this work called the Alpine Concerto for solo tuba and strings. I've actually been recently asked to re-orchestrate the work for solo tuba and brass band, and that's going to be recorded in the Netherlands this spring. So I'm really excited for these different opportunities that I had, and I hope at some point to get back to that kind of a freelance career. But as I mentioned, I also play in a lot of chamber groups. I play with the Sotto Voce Tuba Quartet, a group of 2 euphoniums and 2 tubas. We travel the world as well, and we are the premier tuba euphonium quartet from America. We're actually going to be giving a concert in the Twin Cities in Minneapolis, St. Paul, in March of 2021. So keep your eyes open for that if you're interested in hearing that kind of ensemble. I also have a group in Madison called the Isthmus Brass that I perform regularly with. We play a lot of holiday concerts especially, and we have 2 CDs out doing a lot of holiday music, but we also play secular music as well. We got our start raising money for the homeless, and we've raised now over $40,000 for Porchlight through that organization, and raising money through concerts of that sort. I'm also a conductor, and I get to conduct the Sheboygan Symphony this coming December in an online sort of their brass Christmas concert. We're excited to give that concert. I just kind of worked out the contract of that just in the last few days. So that's the way of the life of the musician. You never know where you're going to be gigging next or what you're going to be doing next. In this case, we're going to be playing a lot of my arrangements, and I'll be conducting the brass section of the Sheboygan Symphony. I also play tuba with the Manitowoc Symphony, and I also play quite a bit with the symphonies here in Madison and Milwaukee, getting an opportunity to play with the different organizations around town here. So I'm gonna kind of finish up my little broadcast here with a piece that I think is really fitting for the time. These COVID times are really challenging. Obviously, so many people have lost loved ones. I mean, you can't believe the death toll that this has brought to our country. On top of that, a lot of people are out of work. In particular, obviously, musicians and artists who we can really relate to here. And it's a really challenging time. We have to find other ways to keep ourselves busy, and Meet the Musician here is a great way to keep ourselves performing. And so I'm going to do a little performance for you now of the Sarabande from Cello Suite No. 5 by Johann Sebastian Bach. And I'm going to feature not the F tuba like I played that piccolo solo from the John Philip Sousa Stars and Stripes, but this gigantic thing. This is my C tuba. This is the grand orchestral tuba that I use in the orchestra. And I think it really helps grab the mellow sound of the cello. And I hope you enjoy this wonderful tribute to the victims of COVID-19.